Welcome, beautiful mutants and eclectic minds of the world. Let's keep it on topic now, shall we? As the title shows, and it's gonna be short, is World's Fairs and Expositions or expos. Um, Creating the future and undoing the past. So, um, been doing a lot of rabbit holing. Nope, I don't like that term. Okay. Deep diving, drifting, going, World's Fairs keeps on coming back into the picture. I find a whole book about 1893, the 1893's World's Fairs, and it was actually referenced in the Wikipedia section of 1893 Chicago's World's Fairs, um, because of the architecture, right? So, um, and that is what's so interesting, particularly about like the World's Fairs in the late 1800s, early 1900s in the states. So, and then there was, like I said, it's just a short video. There might be another one later. That one it's work in progress. We call it remembering, still remembering. So it may never happen. No, but seriously, no. I listened to today. I listened to, and then this has nothing to do with World's Fairs and Expositions, but it might have to do with the remembering part of it later. I listened to Terence McKenna, for 1 hour and a half because it's quite deep stuff, especially when you sort of understand it. Um, but that's like I said, that's not for this video. So scratch that. If we were in court, it's sort of like pretend you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that. Anyways, so back to the subject at hand. I said it was going to be a short one. So World's Fairs and Expositions. There's two that's been in Canada, and the last one was the last one that's been in North America, with none in the foreseeable future that I could check. Like there's one this year in Japan, and I think there's one in 2027. But the big one that I think that's going to be a big one is the one in 2030 in Saudi Arabia. In Riyadh is I think it's in Riyadh. So, anyways, yeah. So backtracking, the two in Canada, there was one in 1967, Expo 67 in Montreal, where the is it the geodesic dome, like full ministers, right? We all know our Bucky full minister, right? Still there. Um, God, I must have driven by, I must have seen it in one of the times that I've been to Montreal, right? Like I was born in '66. It was just so. Didn't go to Montreal during the Olympics either, which is in '76. Um, So, anyways, so the one in Montreal. So at the time, it was the largest in size. The area wise was 523 hectares. Yes, it is. It was. At least that's what it shows in Wikipedia. And set the largest attendance record as well, with a single day attendance record. I think on the third day of 669,000. I'll have to double check that. Right, I'm not sure. Why not 666,000? Right. Anyways, so you can tell that we're definitely into fall. Late leaves, yellow and green. Um, yeah, September and October, I really dislike these months. Like I almost like as far as any 2 months combined, and this is I'm just thinking about this now. As far as any two months combined, September and October are probably the two worst months of the year. And a lot of it is the fact that in September it's like could be a really nice day, or it could be like cold in the morning, like hot in the afternoons, like temperatures are all over the place, and then kind of like the middle of September and like October, it's sort of like it's like the evil's time to shine, right? All of the scary movies, there's Halloween, right? And what is it, Red October as well, right? Or October Surprise, right? So September, October is like the 2 months that are leading into November, which is like winter, at least here in Williams Lake, as far as I'm concerned. So again, I'm distracting myself. I wasn't going to talk about anything other than World's Expositions and Fairs, and here I am talking about like a whole bunch of other stuff. So again, scratch that. That might be in the later video. That may or may never happen, but it might happen tonight. Who knows? So yeah. So then, so the one in 1967 was in Montreal, and then there was one in 1986. Where I went to the and it was considered a special expo sort of thing. Like it's really weird. And then there was a whole, and then recently there's been a whole bunch of like horticulture expositions. So there's these different types of fairs and expos, and like they all have like they all have like a saying, like a slogan. It's usually like a 1-line or 2-line slogan. They're bid on. So like I think the one that Montreal got is actually was supposed to originally go to Moscow, but they had to withdraw. And I could be mistaken with that, but there was some other city that had to withdraw. So going back to the one in 1986, so was Vancouver. I never did go. Had an opportunity, but went to Edmonton instead. So in hindsight, who knows if I made the right decision or not. But Edmonton was fun. So anyway, so at Vancouver Expo '86, I went into quite a bit of detail, sort of thing like that. And one of the things I checked was like bands, right? Because I'm interested in bands, who played there, sort of thing. And sure enough, the band Test Department played there on Britain Day. Apparently Prince Charles and Princess Diana was there. I don't know if they were there at the concert. That'd be pretty cool. It's sort of like Princess Diana says, "Yeah, let's go see Test Department. They're really cool," right? And I can just anyway. So, but why not? I mean, like in '86, they would have been fairly young at the time. So I can see them being into Test Department. So I don't know. Was anybody there? Like, I mean, that must have been like quite the experience to see. Like I in the world of instant manifestation, right? You have this, and it leads to the topic, which I haven't even got back to, like the title. But so I thought, okay, that would have been really cool. Let's see if I could find it, right? So sure enough, I found it. I found it on actually. There's this actually really cool website, not website, a YouTube channel called Scaremeister, and it's Kevin with a CK. Like one of the original members of Skinny Puppy, and that's as the tie-in is that the couple members of Skinny Puppy was actually there and helped produce the show. The video is like 20 minutes long, and it's like like in the description he says the guy from Skinny Puppy, again, I think it's Kevin, Kevin Keeve, not Kevin Ogre or the drifting again. So yeah, so it's really cool if you haven't seen it. Like it's like on like I said, Scaremeister. He's got some really like I think that there's I got to go back. Actually, that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm watching. There was also on there Skinny Puppy at Love Affair. Then it was their second ever concert. So I just started watching it. So I'm gonna go back. I think I'm gonna listen to that tonight. So wow, look at that! Just by rambling and really not saying much at all about World Fairs and Expositions, I'm already at 10 minutes. Focus. Somebody said not to do something before video. Oh. Okay. So where am I going from here? Okay. So yeah, so there was Expo '86. It's funny. Like when I started, like if I had in my mind, it's sort of like I was going to talk about Vancouver and Montreal, like in like the first minute, right? And then just get on with it, sort of thing. So, um, apologize if I've wasted anybody's time, like just talking about random nothingness. Uh, but that's who I am. Not really. Okay. We're gonna finish this up because I had a feeling it would go into. Um, okay, so like I said, I bought that book and it's called Devil in the White City. To do with the architecture of rebuilding Chicago. So yeah, creating the future. So this is like, and again, if you're still listening at this point, sort of thing. Okay, here's the secret, or maybe not a secret, but and again, this is where it's creating the. I guess it's in a way, it's sort of like it's creating the future temporarily, while undoing the past permanently. Ooh, uh, I guess, and then this is where conspiracy is going to come along. 1915, the 1915 World Fair in San Francisco. Uh, and again, like the architecture, like the main building, the one in 1861 had a building that was 1,861 feet long, I think it was. Or was it meters long? I can't remember, but it was a certain length to do with the year, right? And it had something like 40,000 panes of glass. It had no inside light, right? Well, mind you, 1861, I don't think there was any, like, electric, Again, rambling. Okay, come back to the. So at architecture. And see, and this is sort of like where it gets kind of confusing is that it's showcasing what's possible in the future, showcasing like inventions and amazing stuff that eventually come into existence, right? But where did where, right? That's okay. I guess we should backtrack a bit. The World's Fairs, the first one was held back in the late 1780s or something like that, somewhere in Europe. I mean, most of them until I think the first one um in the United States wasn't until like the 1880s or something like that, or maybe Chicago's was the first one in 1893, and they had a whole bunch from about 1893 right up until the World's Fair in New York was 64. The one in Seattle was 62. I'm not sure if there's been any since then. Space Needle was probably for 62. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the Space Needle, right? 60 space, right? I mean, 64. I mean, if you haven't seen the movie Tomorrowland with George Clooney, you really, really have to see it. It's like a phenomenal movie, and probably reveals a lot more truth than people seem to realize. um, okay, and then so you're okay, yeah, I'll find it, and then creating the future, and then but you're saying what undoing the past. Okay, so this is where the conspiracy. And I don't know if it's going to talk about it much in the book that I'm reading because it's supposed to be based on fiction. It's like historical fiction, which is kind of cool because that's sort of like what I want to do is like is write historical fiction. Uh, so yeah, there's that. But so the 1915, and I'm not going to explain why I have my theories, but I do, and it doesn't take much to find out if we're looking into what. But as far as undoing the past, so the one specifically in 1915, which in San Francisco, is to um, erase almost like a portion of history. Um, so these World Fairs, and I know the one at 1915, but all these like amazing buildings, like all these and it's done like on a fairly large area. Like I said, the one in Montreal was on 523 hectares. I think the earlier ones, like the ones in the 1900s, was on like about 100 to 150 hectares. So I mean, like a fairly large area, like and oh, the Flushing Meadows is the one in New York that they use 64, and again, the one earlier than that was in the 30s or 40s. Anyway, so it's the world's fair, like it's constructed. Oh, and it gets reminds me about this cartoon I saw recently as well. Really going flashback and like I said, to do the whole premise. There's this cartoon. Oh my god! I wonder if that was how I found out about this other guy that wrote. Oh, it's all seem to be connecting. um, I don't know if I've explained it previously. I don't think I've talked. There's this when I did some research. There's this right. Okay. There's this pen name of Silas that this guy wrote. I can't remember what his real name is now, but he did not Finding Nemo, but Little Nemo back in the early 1900s comic strips. Oh yeah, the something fiend of Rarebit. Not the sex fiend. Don't know where it got but something to do with Rarebit and how it gives you like bad dreams and stuff like that. And he had to do it on a pen because he was making money, not making money, but he was in newspapers. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this up really quick because oh my god, it's already 17 minutes and it's probably gonna shut off automatically. So undoing the past is sort of like they're constructing everything right in a short period of time, right? And this comic strip is sort of like fair today, right? And there was like a complete empty field, and all of a sudden, like by the afternoon, the fair is up and running, sort of thing. That was the comic strip sort of thing. But sort of like, so yeah, they put it up all these glamours, like all these, but it's not real, right? Like, but some of them are real. I think they're earlier ones, but some of the later ones maybe in the States aren't real. They're just like made of this the plaster or something like that. And then so when the fair is done, they dismantle everything, except they usually leave like one or two buildings, right? Like so like the one in San Francisco, there's the building still left, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's sort of like, are they like erasing, what are they, anyways, so I'm going to leave it at that. Like I said, there might be another video later on. Stay tuned.